Hello, everyone. My name is Fiona Tang. Today, I'm going to talk about the implementation of technology in glocalization, English media instruction in multilingual university settings, a case study of economics. So this is actually a work in progress paper co-authored with my colleague, Shelley, Ho. So in this presentation, we will focus on several parts. The first one is about the use of digital technologies in EMI courses at multilingual higher education settings. And then we will look at how the technology supports the Chinese-speaking students and instructors to appropriately address EMI-related issues, such as lecture comprehension and the acquisition of terminology. And then we will provide several pedagogical suggestions, including how the higher education practitioners and policymakers can make use of the digital tools to glocalize EMI. So the first one, let's take a look at some background information about EMI in China's higher education. Here is the definition for EMI. As you can see, this refers to the use of the English language to teach academic subjects other than English itself in countries where the first language of the majority of the population is not English. So over the past 40 years, English has become very important in the educational system in China. And in response to cultivating global talents, an alternative EMI educational form has been increasingly implemented in China's higher education, so which focuses on the students' acquisition of both subject knowledge and also English language proficiency. As you can see, in 2001, the Ministry of Education of China issued 12 key guidelines to promote the expansion of the use of English in advancing the higher education quality. And then, according to a large-scale longitudinal investigation, so 97.8% of the higher education providers have offered the 44 EMI programs per institution by 2006. However, the inadequate English skills of Chinese-speaking teachers and students has become a prominent obstacle, so which has been argued to have a negative impact on the lecture comprehension, along with the lack of subject-specific vocabulary. So then let's take a look at technology in China's higher education. So the use of digital technologies is also considered a new trend of the internationalization of China's higher education. And in 2007, the Ministry of Education of China launched the college English curriculum requirements. So through this policy, actually a range of such digital tools as MOOCs or spokes or ebooks has become alternatives to enhance and innovate the on-campus curricular contents. However, very few investigations have been done regarding the impact of educational technologies on China-based EMI courses. Therefore, our study aims to examine how Chinese-speaking undergraduates and teachers adopt the digital technologies in EMI academic practice to address the lecture comprehension and also subject-related vocabulary acquisition. All right, so let's take a look at the context for this case study. So this study was conducted at a Sino-foreign cooperative university located in South China. And for this university, so there is an international faculty of academic staff. from over 30 countries or regions around the world. And all of the full-time academics have been required to have a good command of English skills to fulfill their professional duties in the university. And the majority of the students and teachers are actually Chinese speakers with a little bit different dialects. However, the Mandarin Chinese is used as the dominant language of the interaction on the campus, despite the fact that English is stipulated as the working language by the university policy. So in the practice, most programs are offered in either English or a mixture of English and Mandarin Chinese. So here's an example for the selected unit, economics. So let's take a look at this one. So this study focused on a major elective unit, economics, and this course enrolls three, cohorts from the financial mathematics program in the spring semester. So on average, there are around 95 students registering for this unit every semester. So each unit lasted for 14 weeks. And every week, the students need to attend a 2-hour lecture plus and 1-hour tutorial. And also all of the learning materials were available on the learning management system, which is the iSpace. And the university has already made considerable efforts in developing supportive technological facilities, such as iSpace, smart classrooms, e-library resources, and so on. So now let's take a look at, how the instructors and students used the technologies in one of the, classes for economics. So here's an example. As you can see, the instructor in this lecture, demonstrated how to source academic references through the e-databases via the projector and also computer workstations. And also he showed the assessment guidelines from iSpace course page. And the instructor accessed one of the required software for this course, which is Wind Financial Terminal, to teach students how to access the corporate statistics of the stock market. And then he adopted Google and Bing to showcase how to discover the academic references for the essay topic, Financial Crisis in History. So in the class, the students recorded the lecture notes at the same time when the instructor was teaching. So actually the students, used their social media account, WeChat, just to type in some lecture notes by texting to their WeChat. And then they use the mobile translation apps to look up economics related terms and also review the assessment guidelines via the iSpace on their small devices. So for our investigation, we invited students from this unit to join our study. As you can see, the majority of the participants, the students, actually came from the year 2, and followed by the year 3 students. And also for the age group, as you can see, the majority of them are between the 20 to 25 years old. And when we ask them, have you lived or studied abroad? So the majority of the students haven't lived or studied abroad. So only a small number of the students probably lived or studied in English-speaking countries or regions for a very, very short time. Okay, so let's take a look at the background information for the two instructors. As you can see, there are two instructors here. One is male and the other one is female. And so both have Mandarin Chinese as their first language. And talking about their educational background, so both instructors hold PhDs as terminal degrees. And instructor A had been studying in Chinese media instruction in mainland China before pursuing his master's and doctoral degree in Australia. And so for the female instructor B, so she had been studying in CMI to the master degree in mainland China before doing PhD study in USA and also postdoctoral research in Hong Kong. So they actually both started learning English from grade 3 in primary school. And also talking about any previous EMI experience, and both of them had already got some experience, years experience working, studying in English-speaking countries or regions. And both of them had already received some formal or informal training on digital practice. So now let's take a look at our research methods. So the data collection actually happened from early March to late June 2022 for 10 weeks. And we look at the 3 classes in economics. So they were instructed by 2 lecturers, which were also our interviewed instructors. And also each lecture ran once a week for 2 hours. And we adopted the mixed methods in our study. So as you can see, we used the audio recorded class observations and also a questionnaire survey consisting of 22 questions, including 11 5-point lecture-type skills. And also we use a focus group discussion to have more specific information with the students. And then we ran the semi-structured interviews with the 2 instructors. So on average, as I just mentioned earlier, for this unit, there were 95 undergraduates usually enrolled in this unit. And for our study, actually, there are 75 who volunteered to participate in this study. So here are some major findings from our study. As you can see from table 1, about students' attitude towards the possible difficulties that could have negative impact on their study. So generally speaking, only 1/3 of the students agreed or strongly agreed on the statement, learning this course through English is difficult for me, while the rest expressed either an opposite or neutral position. And the students from the focus group discussion also confirmed that most were relatively confident or did not have major concerns about their English skills. And this could be attributed to their learning motivations and also effective experience with teachers' discourse adaptation in class. So then let's take a look at the students' attitude towards the effects of the technology in learning this unit. As you can see from table 2. So the reasons why only a limited number of the informants regarded their learning of the EMI unit as greatly challenging and might be attributed to most students' reliance on the use of digital technologies, as shown in our survey, that nearly 90% of them claimed to rely on technology in learning the unit. And the students reached the highest agreement on using technology is helpful to my overall learning, and with more than 85% of them indicating a supportive position. So talking about specific aspects of the course learning, the highest agreement was reached on group project or essay. So as you can see from this table, using technological tools has helped me a lot to accomplish a group project or essays in this course. And this was followed by, the use of technology has facilitated my learning of a specific vocabulary or terminologies, and also a lecture comprehension, and then both comprehension of the course content and English skills. So actually there are more data coming from our interviews and also group, the focus group discussion. So those analysis highlighted the significance of digital tools in facilitating students' learning experience. So as we found out, the students prefer to watch free online course videos and reading ebooks to expand their subject-related repertoire. And instructors would use digital tools to visualize the data structures in class, and this facilitated the students' comprehension of the content through integrating their spatial abilities. And also the digital tools such as the mobile translation apps help the students' understanding of subject-specific terms and further expanded their lexical coverage so as to achieve proper comprehension of the course materials. Another interesting finding from our study, specifically the online survey and also the focus group discussion, is that English and Chinese were used interchangeably by students when using technological systems for their EMI coursework. So here is a conclusion of our major findings. As you can see, the case study used the mixed methods to examine the impact of the digital tools on supporting students and teachers in managing EMI-related issues. And as we can see, the implementation of the technology mediated EMI unit received positive responses from most of the survey students and the instructors in terms of their overall satisfaction. So in terms of the content comprehension, the use of the technology actually expanded the students' subject-related knowledge by allowing them to access more open resources online and also some additional self-directed learning materials. The use of technology was also perceived as a mediator in just the triggering the students' basic spatial abilities to understand the subject-specific complex information. And in terms of the vocabulary development, the digital tools such as machine translations were considered an effective learning strategy to compensate for those English as a second language students' limitations in lexical coverage. So technological intervention also allows students to use the language switching strategy to source academic references Through this way, they could develop their biliteracy skills in English and Chinese in an autonomous manner. So based on our major findings, we would like to propose several pedagogical suggestions on the technology-mediated EMI practices in China or other EFL countries. So the findings calls for the reconsideration of current EMI policies in higher education that implement a full-scale Englishization of curricula in China, such as exclusively or isolatedly relying on English language materials and enforcing English as the only acceptable media of communication for classroom discourse. However, an increasing number of the Chinese graduates have chosen or are considering pursuing further study or career in China. So this could be attributed to the changes in global power and influence between China and the West. Chinese employers' greater interest in hiring Chinese educated graduates, and also the students' fears about contracting COVID-19 overseas, and so on. Therefore, it is more important for China-based universities to glocalize EMI curricula in order to advance the students' social, economic, and also professional mobility in both global and domestic markets. So here's a key term for you, glocalization. So glocalization refers to the association of local circumstances and global awareness. So for the EMI practices in China, it would be a feasible solution to sustain the English as an academic lingua franca with contextual adjustments, such as integrating localized subject-related materials to accommodate students' learning demands. And also, the other suggestion is, as you can see from our study, the positive feedback highlighted the significance of a technological infrastructure in supporting EMI class interactions and also tasks. So it is necessary for EMI higher education providers to establish a well-structured technological facilities to make sure the learning management system function very well, and also they need to provide sufficient technical support or trainings. So the other suggestion is, because from our investigation, we found the students actually demonstrated autonomy in, just make a full use of the digital technologies to help their own learning. And this could be a crucial factor in EMI learning effectiveness. So this suggests that the students of English as a second language need to focus on consistently improving their English proficiency and also develop digital readiness in order to achieve self-directed learning and also academic success in EMI settings. All right, so here are some selected references. So if you are interested in more references, please send me an email. Okay, thank you for watching. If you have any questions or any, issues you want to discuss with us, so please just send me an email via the Fiona Tang at curtincollege.edu.au. Thank you very much.